Okay, you guys, it's time to finish up our space projects and get creative. So I already used my example, the one that I kind of messed up on, to make the rest of this example. I was playing with what I wanted to do with you guys. So I don't have another example to work on, so I'm just gonna work on blue paper and kind of show you what you're gonna do. You're gonna start off by getting 5 planet kind of shapes, circles, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're gonna color them. Now you can color them any way you want to. We're gonna use oil pastels. So on this one, over here. This one I did orange and pink. This one is green and purple and blue and red. But you can make them however you want to. You can be creative with these. You can make a blue with orange stripe one. I don't care. They don't have to look like real planets, but we can also pull up a picture of real planets while you're coloring. So you're gonna take about 5 to 10 minutes and work on coloring these, okay? So everybody start coloring. Okay, you guys, all of my planets are now colored. And now we're gonna add a little bit of shading to them. Okay, so here's all 5 of my planets. Now at the end of this, if you decide you wanna do an extra planet, you can do that. But we're all gonna start with 5, or if you don't use one, that's okay too. We just want enough. Now, I'm gonna do my big one first so you can really see it. You need a white, and you could use black, but what I like to do is I like to use a darker version of the color that I used. So I used pink and orange, so I could use pink or I could use orange, but I think I'm gonna use red because red is the darkest warm color, okay? And we're gonna do just a little bit of shading on each and every planet. So every planet will have a white highlight on one side, like there's some light shining on it. We just want our planets to look more rounded. And then you can do a little bit of a dark shadow. And you can also smear it like this. So notice how it curves like your planet, but it's gonna make it look more 3D. That's what I did with this one and these, and it makes them look more 3D and like they have some dimension to them, okay? So just to repeat, I'm gonna do the white shadow here, or the white highlight, sorry. And then we use a darker version of this green. I'm gonna find a darker green, and I'm gonna do a shadow here. So just try to use a color that you have already there, okay? This one, it might be hard to find a darker purple, so I might use like a darker teal or blue, or this one, you might need a black, okay? But do a highlight and a shadow on each one, and then come back. Okay guys, so this is gonna look a lot better on yours because you guys have your nebulas in the background, okay? But now you're gonna kind of lay them out so that they look good. So the bigger planets are gonna look like they're closer, the smaller planets are gonna look like they're farther away. And then I used a white oil pastel to draw out this like burst of light, and that's kind of like my sun for the solar system, okay? So you're just gonna put a little bit of glue on each one, kind of play with where you want them. I put all of my highlights kind of towards the middle, facing where I knew I was gonna put my burst. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. You don't have to have a burst, but it still helps if they're all facing in common directions. So my highlights were all facing in on this one. Or you could make it where they're all facing, every single one of them is facing this direction. Or every single one of your highlights is facing this direction. It gives a little bit of continuity with the highlights if they're all facing something similar, like the same direction, or like I said, mine are all facing this nebula I'm about to draw. Not nebula, this like sun. Okay, so then I drew the rings around this, and I just used my oil pastels. I started with something darker. I had this really pretty like teal kind of color, and the oil pastels do show up. You just kind of have to be careful with how you do. So I did that. And then I came back with a little bit of some lighter color, like this lighter blue. So it's like a dark teal and then a lighter blue. And then I even came back with some white. And I just had my white, and there it is. So you're just gonna layer it until you get it like the color that you want. Okay, so if you want to do like these kind of rings around a planet, you can definitely do that. And then my white, you will want to clean your white probably, or If you have one that's clean, that's fine. But the way you clean it is you color on a blank piece of paper with it. So like, this is the back of my paper. So I can just color with it and it'll clean it off and get all that gunk off of it, okay? And if you want to, but you don't have to, you could do like one of these like starbursts like this. Yellow will not show up very well, so you really want it to be white. Okay, and then if you want to, you can use your white and you can come around and do some bigger kind of star shapes. Or maybe even like some little tiny bursts, okay? So you can definitely do that too, all right? So step 1, you colored. Step 2, we shaded. Step 3, we glued. And then step 4, we added our other details. So make sure to get your picture, and then you can probably take these home today.